Look at a video game or a complex app, it can feel like you're staring at a wall of mystery. But underneath the surface, software isn't magic. It's an organized system that works exactly like a busy restaurant. Think of the screen you're looking at right now as the dining room. In the tech world, we call this the front end. It's the part you can actually see, the buttons you click, the menus you scroll through, and the characters that move when you tap the screen. But the dining room has a limit. You can sit at a table and decide you want a burger, but the table can't cook it for you. The front end is great at taking your request, but it doesn't have the tools to process the logic or cook the result itself. To get your order moving, you need a waiter. In a digital app, we call this the API. Think of the API as a dedicated messenger whose only job is to carry information back and forth between you and the hidden parts of the system. This diagram shows the journey. The order starts here at the client, which is your phone or computer. The API waiter picks it up and carries that specific request through the swinging doors, delivering it safely into the hidden system we call the backend. At this stage, no one has actually started cooking yet. The front end and the waiter are strictly there for transport. Their job is to make sure the right request gets to exactly the right place. Now we're in the backend server. Think of this as a high-tech commercial kitchen. It's loud, it's highly organized, and it's where the work actually happens to turn your request into a finished product. When the waiter arrives, they hand over a digital version of your menu ticket. This isn't just paper. It's a specific bundle of all the exact details you requested, like how many toppings you want, or if you have a food allergy. To fill orders, chefs need a way to track ingredients. In code, we call these variables. You can picture them as neatly labeled storage bins lined up along the chef's prep station. Look at how this ticket maps to these boxes. Each variable acts as a storage container for one specific piece of information, like a number or a word. The kitchen can check these bins at any time to see how many pickles are left or to update the count as they use them. Without these storage bins, the kitchen would have no memory. Variables allow the backend to stay organized and keep track of all the raw data it needs to build your order. Once the ingredients are ready, the kitchen needs a set of instructions to decide what to do with them. It needs rules. We call this control flow. It works exactly just like a dietary rules board pinned to the kitchen wall. It's a series of if and else statements that the chefs follow to make decisions. In this flowchart, you can see the order ticket reaching a split in the path. The rule asks a question: is the customer vegan? If true, the chef is directed to a specific path using the green pan. But if false, the code automatically routes the order to the else path, and the chef uses the standard blue pan instead. By setting up these paths ahead of time, the kitchen stays efficient. It ensures that the program doesn't get confused or completely crash when it receives an order it wasn't expecting. Control flow is the fundamental logic engine of the backend. Think of it as the traffic cop that tells the system exactly how to react to every possible choice you make. In a busy kitchen, there are complex tasks that happen over and over again. If a chef had to chop, mix, and whisk every single sauce from scratch for every single order, they would never finish. To save time, programmers use functions. You can think of a function as a high-powered blender sitting directly on the counter. Instead of doing the work by hand, you drop your variables, your ingredients, into the top and hit a button. The blender rapidly performs a complex, pre-programmed job, swirling everything together into a finished result. The best part is that this tool is reusable. Once the blender is set up, it produces the same result every time you use it. This saves the programmer from having to rewrite the same complicated logic over and over again. Functions are the heavy machinery of the backend. They take all the raw inputs and transform them perfectly into the polished, finished experiences you ultimately see on your screen. Finally, the work is done. The logic has been processed, the meal is ready, and the final result is handed back to our waiter, the API. The waiter travels back through the swinging doors and delivers the finished order right to your table in the front-end dining room. In a physical restaurant, this whole process takes time, but a computer is incredibly fast. It repeats the same simple loop: request, logic, and delivery, thousands of times a second, so quickly that the game world feels like it's moving in real time. Software architecture can seem intimidating when you're looking at the jargon, but it's really just this simple system of requests and instructions. Now that you understand the blueprint of how these pieces fit together, you've already cleared the biggest hurdle.